Jim Irsay only really needed just a little more than a week to find his next general manager. Longtime NFL scout and personnel man Chris Ballard will take his first chance at leading an entire operation of a football team as the next general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts officially hired Chris Ballard as their new general manager. Chris Ballard will arrive in Indianapolis after 4 years working with the Kansas City Chiefs, and since Ballard joined the Chiefs in 2013, Kansas City has been one of the AFC's most consistent teams in the NFL. The Chiefs have won at least 9 games in each of the last 4 seasons while Ballard was there, and even earned the number 2 seed this year in the NFL playoffs and their postseason after winning the toughest division in football. I'm very encouraged about this signing of Chris Ballard here. I think the guy has got a lot of good talent, and I think he's got a good eye for players. He's been greatly credited with the acquisition of Marcus Peters, who was often, kind of had a little bit of some issues off the field there, and he turned out to be a great pickup for the Kansas City Chiefs. And there's a lot of talk right now that even there's a possibility, granted, I don't know how big of a possibility, but the fact that Eric Berry and Don Terry Poe are free agents for Kansas City this year, that there's a possibility of some degree that they could end up maybe here in Indianapolis. And as a Colts fan, I would absolutely love that. I think those two positions that the Colts could really use right now. But the likelihood, I'm not sure if that'll actually happen, but it's an interesting thought to think about. So if that happens, I'd be all for it. But Chris Ballard has been known with the rest of the Chiefs organization over the last few years of having a very balanced roster, and I think that would be something that the Colts could desperately need right now. And the Chiefs have made it work with Alex Smith as their quarterback, and I don't consider Alex Smith to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. But I think with the talent of Andrew Luck here in Indianapolis, that Chris Ballard could do some good here, and he could do very well as a general manager. Now, obviously, this is his first time ever being a full-time general manager, but he's got some experience, under those ranks in Kansas City and things like that. So, and he's obviously wanting to build in the draft, and has already talked about possibly moving a little bit in free agency and doing waiver claims and things like that. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to bring to the table here, and I'm hoping that he will bring a good roster for Chuck Pagano to utilize on the field. And all I can say is right now, let's just wait and see. I'm very encouraged. Anything can be better than Ryan Grigson, right? Because that was a utter disaster. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll do, and we'll just have to wait and find out. Also, in Colts news this week, had a bit of a surprise retirement here with the punter Pat McAfee, the very beloved punter for the Indianapolis Colts, a very funny guy. Obviously, he had 2 years remaining on his contract, and he played 8 years in the NFL, and arguably the best punter in the league right now, and definitely in Indianapolis Colts franchise history. But it just sounds like he was about ready to go in for his third surgery on his knee in 4 seasons. So that right there is a bit concerning as a football player. So I can understand him wanting to get away from the game to kind of preserve his body, and so he can still enjoy life later on. And football is a very dangerous sport, obviously, and it's just something that I feel like he probably did what was best for him and his family. Also, he's got an aspiring comedic career, and he's obviously done plenty of stand-up comedy gigs over the last few years and things like that. So I'm sure he's wanting to focus on that, and he stated as such. And he even did his retirement speech on a show called Barstool Rundown on Comedy Central. So I mean, clearly he's got that aspiration in mind going forward, and he's obviously done a lot of, he was talking on a radio show here in Indianapolis this week, and he said he saved his money pretty well. And obviously he kind of joked that he, had done some frivolous spending as well, though I think he even mentioned he bought a professional wrestling ring, which I thought was kind of funny as a wrestling fan myself. So, but yeah, I'm sure he's doing well financially, so he ain't going to worry about that. He got paid very well to not be on the field a whole lot in the NFL, because punters obviously don't see the field very much. But hey, punters are people too, as Rich Eisen would say. And yeah, it's a big loss, and obviously the Colts have a lot more issues to deal with than just the punter. That's one of the on the low end of issues the Colts have this offseason. But obviously with Pat McAfee retiring, the punting position is going to be a hard position to fill because Pat was just that good. I mean, he could kick the ball 80 yards downfield and put it right where you need it and pin the opponent deep in their own territory, and that's just something you can't find at all times. And he can even run trick plays and pass the ball and things like that. So he's going to be difficult to replace. But they did sign a kid on January 6th named Devin Bell. I believe he went to Mississippi State, and he's got some punting experience too. So, and Adam Vinatieri's not going anywhere. So the field goal kicking, as far as I know, is intact for a while. But our kickoff specialist and our punting is going to have to find a replacement there. And Chris Ballard's already going to have to address that issue as well going into the draft. And obviously we got plenty of other issues between offensive line, defense, and on the whole, especially at pass rush, and the secondary is a little weak. But we'll just have to see where the Colts go, and I'm very encouraged to see it. And I can't wait for next season already. And the draft will be here in just a few months here, and I can't wait to see what Ballard does there. Well, that'll just about do it for me, everybody. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like what you saw here, please comment and like this video. And you can also subscribe to the Jailcast on YouTube by searching for Jailcast there. You can also find links in the description of this video for my Facebook and Twitter, or you can go to facebook.com/Jailcast, or you can find me on Twitter @EricJail. So until next time, thank you for watching. God bless.